All right, everyone. Good evening. Alexander, are you there?
Yes, sir.
And who is this by the name of iPhone? Hello.
Hi,
Yeah. What's your name?
Sidra.
Sidra. Okay. All right. Sidra and Alexander, both of you are for your economics session.
Yeah, okay.
So just a minute. Give me a moment. All right. Okay. So Sidra and Alexander. So how much you have already covered in the economics? What chapters you have already studied? So are you guys done with your first term examination? Sidra.
Yes.
Okay, so both of you are here for your second term exam, second term syllabus.
Yes.
All right, guys. So in today's session, we will talk about the first chapter in the second term syllabus, that is production function. All right. So in this chapter, we will first talk about the meaning of the production. So before explaining anything, before telling you anything about the production function, I just wanted to know what you already know about production. What do you understand by the term production? And Alexander, please first explain. Alexander will explain me first, then Sidra, and then Steve. What do you think? What is what is production?
Production is when a company creates a product,
Mhm.
you know, and for selling or advertising.
Okay, when a company create a product for selling in the market to the customer, that is called production. Okay. All right, Sidra, what do you understand by the term production?
I don't know much about production.
You don't know.
Yes.
All right, so let me help you with the meaning of the production. So Alexander explained everything about the almost everything about the production. Production is, as Alexander explained, production is basically creating any good by a firm or a company for ultimately selling it to the customer in the market. So let me make it more clear. Just a minute. Okay. So first of all, what is actually production? We will try to understand this production. So guys, production is basically, you can say production is a process. It's a process of what? It is a process. It is a process of converting the inputs, converting the inputs into output. Converting the input into output, the process of converting the input into output is called production. So let me help you. Let me explain this the concept of production through an example. Let's suppose this is a producer, and this producer, the name of producer is Mr. X. Okay. So Mr. X is, let's say he is producing, let's say he's producing computer, or let's say he's producing cars. Okay, sir. He's producing cars. So for producing cars, he must be using certain inputs, right? So input will be, what are the different types of input he must be using? Guys, any idea? What are the inputs that he must be using? So first of all, he must be using labors for the production of cars. He must be using the machine, and he will also require, let's say, a space where the production will be carried out. So building wherein the production will be carried out. Then he will also require fuel and electricity to produce car or to run the machine. Electricity, fuel, or you can say power. Okay, then there must be in the enterprise wherein production is going on, there must be certain furnitures. Okay, furniture must be there, and what? So let's say and other inputs he must be using. Okay, so primarily labor, machine, building, and also, sir, there's one more important thing: raw material. For manufacturing car, he must be using raw material. Okay, is that clear? So what this producer is doing, producer, all of these things are what? All of these things are input. So basically, through a process, this producer is converting these inputs into output. This is the car is your car is the output of Mr. X. But in order to produce this car, produce this output, he need to pass all these input through a certain process. So process through which inputs are converted into output is known as, it is known as the production. So production is nothing but the process of converting the input into output. Okay, is that clear, everyone? What is production? Production is the process of converting the input into output. Sidra and Alexander, Steve, is this clear, all of you?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now let's talk about, see, in economics, all the inputs that we use for the purpose of production, we call all the inputs as the factors of production. All the inputs are known as factors of production. Factors of production. All right, all the inputs are known as, collectively known as, factors of production. And also, just keep this in mind, factors of production generally changes from business to business. So let's say if you talk about a restaurant, they must be using different kind of inputs for producing food. And if you talk about, let's say, if you're talking about the school, what is the school doing? School is providing services, educational services. Okay, so both these basically enterprises must be using different kind of resource, different kind of input. Similarly, if you talk about let's say electronic shop or electronic dealer, he must be using different kind of resource. Is that clear, everyone? So input keep on changing from business to business or person to person. If you talk about restaurant must be, can you tell me what are the different types of resources that the restaurant uses for producing goods? Anyone? What do you think? What are the different types of resources that restaurant uses to produce goods? We will start with the Sidra. Yes, Sidra. Can you tell me what are the different types of?
It provides food.
It provides food, that is correct. But
different types of food, and
I'm not asking what kind of product that
yeah,
restaurant uses. I'm asking what resources restaurant use to produce food. Whenever you visit a restaurant, what do you see? Restaurant uses, what kind of resources restaurant uses to serve their customer? Restaurant must be using.
oh yeah, waiters.
Please tell me, anyone?
Waiters.
Sorry?
Waiters.
Waiters, correct. Perfect. Very good. Number one, waiters. And more. Tell me anything else. Then there must be a cook who must be cooking food. Also, there must be furnitures in the restaurant. All right. Also, they must be using electricity, right? And they also use LPG, right, for cooking food. And what do you think, what more inputs they must be using? Tell me, anyone? Alexander, do you have any idea what restaurant uses to serve their customer?
Building.
Sorry?
Building and furniture. Okay.
Yeah, correct. Space wherein the restaurant will be run. Okay. The space and obviously the vegetables. Okay, vegetable or fruits or other things. These are basically the raw material using which basically restaurant cook food. So from the restaurant point of view, you will call all of these things as what? These are all inputs for restaurant. Got it, everyone? Is this clear, all of you?
Yes, sir.
For the restaurant point of view, all of these things are inputs. Similarly, if you talk about a school, what school do? School is providing you educational services, right? So for rendering educational services, what kind of resources school are using? Anyone? Alexander, can you answer this? What kind of resources school uses to provide educational services to students?
Teachers,
Teachers, correct. And
books,
books, perfect. Building
uh,
on
Laptop.
laptop, okay. And
Smart boards.
smart boards, correct, boards. And buses, school buses are there, no? So all of these are the inputs of the school. Similarly, if you talk about the electronic dealer who deals in the electronic item, so the inputs for this electronic dealer will be inventories that he must be keeping in the shop, inventory, then the electricity, and also the furniture, the space, manager who is managing the store, manager, and there may be or other items as well, other inputs as well. The thing that I want to explain here, that input may vary depending upon the business, type of business or the nature of business. Different business use different type of input. A manufacturing concern uses different input. A service oriented industry uses different input. The thing is that whatever you produce, or you basically whatever the kind of services you render to your customer, the things that you use for rendering the services or for producing goods, everything is considered as the input. All right. All of the things that you use for the production or rendering of services is called inputs. In economics, inputs are known as factors of production. Factors of production. And please understand this, factors of production can be broadly categorized into two parts. There are two types of factors of production. Number one, there are certain factors which are constant throughout the production, known as the fixed factor of production. Fixed factors of production. And then there are factors or the input that keep on changing with the scale of production, are known as variable factor of production. Variable factors of production. I will explain both these points in detail. Variable factors of production. Okay, so let's first start with the variable factor of production. What is actually variable factor of production? So please focus and try to understand that anything, in fact, the anything basically means any factor, anything that changes with the change in the level of production, in the level of production, that is known as the variable factor. Let's presume that currently a producer is producing, let's say, let's talk about this particular person. Suppose this is a producer, his name is Mr. X, and Mr. X is producing 10 units of a particular product. He's producing 10 units. Let's say he's producing pen, and he's producing this kind of pen. He's producing 10 pens, and for producing 10 pen, he must be using some kind of raw material, right? He is using raw material. Let's say he's using plastic as a raw material for producing this pen. So let's say plastic. Okay. For producing 10 pens, he uses, let's say, 250 grams of plastic. In order to produce 10 pen, he uses 250 grams of plastic. Tell me, if he wants to produce more pens, let's say he wants to produce 50 pens, will there be change in the requirement of the raw material, or he will be able to produce same, he will be able to produce more pens with the same amount of raw material, or the requirement of the raw material will also increase? Tell me. If he wants to increase the overall production from 10 to 50, will there be requirement of more raw material, or the same raw material can be used to produce 50 pens also? Alexander, Sidra.
Yes, he will require
He will
more
require
raw
more raw
material.
material, correct. So let's say this time he requires 750 grams of raw material. So basically, as the production increases, the requirement of the raw material also increases. If it happens, then the raw material will be treated as the variable factor. Anything that you use for the production of good is known as factor. Anything that you use for the production of good is known as factor. But if factor keep on changing with the change in the level of production, it is known as the variable factor. Let's say after a period of 1 month, your production declined to only 5 units, 5 pens. So obviously the requirement of the raw material will also fall. Now, if you will be producing 5 pens, the requirement of the raw material will be, let's say, only 100 grams. Getting my point? So basically the requirement of the raw material depends upon the production, depends upon the output. So if the factor changes with the change in the level of output, that is known as the variable factor. Let me give you one more example. Let's say for producing, I'm producing, for example, let's say I'm producing laptop. Okay. And currently I'm using labors to produce laptop. So let's say in order to produce 500 laptops, I am currently employing, let's say 100 laborers, 100% are there, 100 laborers are there who are able to produce 500 laptops. But let's say I want to expand my production capacity. I want to increase my production from 500 to let's say 2000 units of laptop. So do I have to hire more number of labor, or the same labor will be able to produce 2000 units of laptop? Tell me. I'll be required to hire, obviously more number of laborers will be required. So let's say in order to produce, if in order to produce 500 laptop, 100 labor was required. So if I want to produce 2000 laptop, there will be requirement of more labor. So let's say number of labor will be 500 to produce 2000. So you can see the requirement of labor increases as the production increases, right? So therefore, tell me, labor will be known as, labor is also variable factor. Is that clear, everyone? Sidra, Alexander, Nahida,
Yes.
is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Now let's talk about the fixed factor. What are fixed factor? Anything, or in fact any factor that does not change with the change in the output, change in the level of output. That is known as the fixed factor of production. All right. Anything that does not changes with the change in the level of production, that is known as the fixed factor. Let's talk about that. This is a producer and he is using a building for producing goods. And this building has a capacity. Let's say producer is in this building, he will be producing, for example, he is producing books, not books, he's producing pens. Okay, so this building is has a capacity that using this building we can produce 50 lakhs of pen in the same enterprise, in the same premises. We can produce up to 50 lakhs of pen. We are not required to change the building. Right now, this producer is only producing 1000 pens per month. 1000 pens per month. Right now, he's only producing 1000 pens. So if he's only producing 1000 pen, he can use this space. Yes or no? He can use this space. Answer is yes. Let's say if he wants to increase the production from 1000 unit to 5000 units per month, 5000 pens per month, will there be requirement to change the building? Because the production increases, so the requirement of the building will also increase. Yes or no? What do you think? If he wants to increase the production from 1000 to 5000, do basically the producer is required to take another space on rent to produce 5000 pen, Alexander or anyone else? Please tell me. If he want to increase the production from 1000 pens, 5000 pens, this particular space will be sufficient for producing this much quantity or not? Guys, please answer. Sidra, you're getting this? Whatever I'm explaining, Alexander?
Yes.
Any doubt?
No, but I think he could produce 5000 pens in the same build.
Yes, he could produce more pens in the same building. He is not required to change the building. Just because he want to expand the production, it does not mean he is required to basically take another place on rent or basically buy a new property. All right, Nahida and Sidra, is this
Yes,
clear
sir.
to both of you?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Now let's also presume that, let's suppose after a period of 3 or 6 months, he further wants to increase the production to 5 lakh pens per month. So this much quantity can also be produced in the same building. Now you can see we are continuously increasing the production. Output is continuously increasing, right? Output is continuously increasing, but the
Input
building
is constant.
constant, correct. So if building is constant throughout the production, building will be considered as a factor, obviously, but because it is not changing throughout the production process, therefore it will be known as the fixed factor of production. This is it. So the only difference between the fixed and the variable factor is that variable factor keep on changing from the basically the as the production changes, as production increases, the requirement of the variable factor also increases. If production declines, requirement of the variable factor also declines. All right. So now let's understand everything on the PowerPoint. Okay. So let's first talk about the meaning of the production. So production, as I explained, what is production? Production can be defined as a process, right? It is a process. It is a process of what? It is a process of converting the input into output. It can be defined as a process in which inputs are converted into output. Now, all those inputs which are used for the purpose of production of goods are collectively known as what? All the factors of production all the inputs which are used for the purpose of production are collectively known as the factor of production. Like in any business, generally we use these kind of resources like raw material, machine, electricity, building, labor, fuel, etc. All of these things that is used as an input in the process of production are collectively known as what? These are collectively known as the factors of production. All right, everyone, is this clear till this point? Any doubt, Alexander, Nahida, and Sidra?
No.
No doubt.
No, sir.
Moving on. After this, I have also explained that factors of production can be further categorized into two parts. Factors of production can be categorized into two parts, that is fixed factor and the variable factor. Okay. What is fixed factor? It refers to that factor which do not change with the change in the input, with the change in the output. Fixed factor are applicable even where there is no production. If a company is not producing good, still they will require fixed factor of production. Getting my point? Fixed factor is applicable even when you are not producing goods. But if you talk about variable factor are only required when there is a production. You will only require laborers when you want to produce goods. You will require raw material whenever you want to produce goods. You will require electricity when you want to produce goods. So variable factor is something that is required only when production is required. Production will be done. So variable factor refers to that factor which changes with the change in the output. As output increases, the requirement of the variable factor also increases. And mostly, generally, these are considered as the variable factor, like raw material, labor, and fuel, electricity. All these are considered as the variable factor. On the other hand, if you talk about the fixed factor include machinery, like for example, tractor or car or bus. These are fixed factor. Similarly, buildings are fixed factor, and the computer, laptop, or printer, all of these things for an enterprise is also fixed factor, because either production increases or decreases, these factor remains constant throughout the process of production. All right, everyone, is this clear, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now let's talk about the product. So as we already understood that different types of input are used by businesses to produce goods. Now let's talk about the different type of product that they produce. So whatever the input they will use, eventually they will be producing product. Now, what is actually product? I'm sure that you all are already aware that product is what? Product is basically the output that a company or a firm will be producing using the inputs. Okay. Now in this chapter, we have also categorized the product into three parts. There are three types of product. There are three types of product in this chapter. First is the total product. Total product. Then we have average product. You guys are taking the notes, no? Everyone? Please write down everything whatever I'm writing on the screen. I would recommend that every one of you please write this down. Total product, average product, and the marginal product. Okay. Now, what is total product? Total product, let's understand it this way. Let's suppose I have 10 laborers to produce goods, and these 10 laborers collectively, all these 10 laborers are collectively producing 2000 units of output. 10 laborers are producing 2000 units of output. So this is the total quantity of goods that these laborers are producing. So all the laborers, whatever the quantity all the laborers are collectively producing, this is known as the total product. You are not required to write this down. Just try to understand this for now. This is known as the total product. Got it? All the laborers, the total quantity that all the laborers are producing is known as the total product. Now, let's say if 10 laborers are producing 2000 units of output, any one of you, can you please tell me that if 10 laborers are producing 2000, then what is the production by one labor? Tell me, anyone? Can anyone tell me if 10 laborers are collectively producing 2000 units of output, then how much quantity one labor is producing on an average?
250 units.
Sorry, repeat.
250.
250. Okay. And Alexander, what do you think?
200.
200.
Correct. That is correct. 200 is correct. 2000. All the laborers are collectively producing 2000. Correct. And how many laborers are there? 10 laborers are there. So we will simply divide 2000 by 10. We will get 200. So 200 is the quantity that each labor is producing on average, approximately. So whatever the output of one labor is in the total product, that will be known as the average product. Production by one labor is called the average product. If 10 laborers are producing 2000 units of output, that means that is total product. And if 10 laborers are producing 2000 units of output, that means each labor must be contributing around 200 units of output. That means that is an average product by one labor. Okay, is that clear, everyone? Is that clear, everyone?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now let's presume that I have added one more labor to the production cycle. I have added one more labor. Now the total number of labor increases to, from 10, it increases to 11. And when labor increases, the total production also increases to 2450 unit, 2450 units. So earlier, by using 10 labors, I was able to produce 2000 units of output. But if I added, sorry, if the total number of labor increases from 10 to 11, the total productivity also increases from 2000 to 2450 units. Okay. So any one of you, can you please tell me, by adding one extra labor, how much extra production I'm able to basically produce? How much extra unit I'm able to produce by one extra labor? When one extra labor is added, what is the increase in the total product? Alexander, Sidra, Nahida, Steve, please tell me. When labor increases from 10 to 11, what is the increase in the total product? So earlier it was 2000. 10 labors were contributing.
450.
Correct. And by adding one more labor, we are able to produce 2450. That means when one extra labor is added to the production increases by 450 units. Is that correct, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Alexander and Sidra, is this clear, both of you?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So extra production that we have got by putting one extra labor to the production is known as the marginal product. It is known as the marginal product. Whatever the extra quantity you are able to produce by putting one extra labor to the production process, that is known as the marginal product. All right. And if you have 10 labors, so whatever the quantity you are able to produce by applying all the labors you have, that will be known as the total product. And whatever the quantity one labor is able to produce is called the average product. And by adding one extra, whatever the quantity you are able to produce, that is known as the marginal product. I hope everything that I have explained is clear to all of you. Is it clear?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, just a minute. So let's understand the concept of total product and marginal product through this illustration. Let's suppose these are the labors I'm using for production. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And this is the output that they are producing. Let's say this is the total product. Total product can be written as TP. This is TP. Okay. So let's say when I have applied one labor, the total product was 50 units. When the second labor came to the process, the total production increases from 50 to 120. When the third labor is introduced, total production increases to let's say 100 and 210. Then when fourth labor came into picture, the total production increases to 200. When the fifth labor is added to the production, total production is 250. Then just a minute, 240 and 210. So these are the information regarding the total product that all 7 labors are able to contribute. So from the given information, we need to find out the value of the average product. we will be finding out the value of the average product. And also, so average product can be written as AP. And also we will try to find out the value of the marginal product. So marginal product can be written as MP. Marginal product as MP. Okay. Okay, guys. So tell me, if one labor is producing how many unit? 50 unit. So what will be the average product? If one labor is contributing 50, so average product will also be how much? It will be 50 only. Tell me, is this clear, all of you? If there is only one labor and he is contributing 50 unit as the total product, so his average product will be 50 and the marginal product will also be 50. So to keep it simple, you can understand it this way, that at first unit, everything remains same. At the first unit of labor, when the first labor is applied, average product, marginal product, and the total product, everything remains same. That is 50. Okay, is this clear, all of you? Sidra, Nahida, Alexander, and Steve.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, when we have added one more labor, the total production increases to 120, right? Our total production increases to 120. So can you tell me, if two labors are contributing 120 as the total product, then how many units is produced by each labor?
62.
62.
62.
Okay, all right. Anyone else? Neither. How did you calculate it 62?
Sir, it's not me.
Okay.
It's me, Sidra.
Yeah, Sidra, please.
I divided into 2.
Divide. Correct. That is correct. But if you will divide 120 by 2, you won't get it. It will be 60 only.
60?
Yes, 120
Okay.
by 2, it will be 60. Alexander and Nahida, is that clear?
Yes, sir.
So it will be 60. And so average product will be 120. So the formula behind average product is, if you are not able to understand this, just keep this in mind, that total product divided by labor will give you the value of the average product. So TP is 120 and labor is 2. So 120 divided by 2, we got 60. Now marginal product. So in order to find out the marginal product, you will always compare the current production with the previous production. So see, when there was only one labor, total production was 50. When one extra labor is added to the production cycle, how much extra unit we are able to produce? From 50, the production increases to 120. So tell me the extra quantity that we are able to produce. How much extra we are able to produce by adding one more extra labor?
70.
70. So this 70 will be called the marginal product. Alexander, Sidra, Nahida, and Steve. Is this clear, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Moving on. When third labor is applied, total production increases to 210. So what will be the average product? Sir, it is very simple. In order to find out the average product, we will simply apply this formula, total product divided by labor. So total product was 210, labor is 3. So 210 divided by 3, it will be
70.
Correct? So 70 will be the average product. And now again, what will be the marginal product, guys? What will be the marginal product? How we will find out the marginal product? We will simply reduce 120 from 210. So 210 minus 120, it will be, tell me, anyone?
90.
90. Okay. I don't think it will be 90. Yes, it will be 90. Okay. Alexander, is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Everyone else, is this clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
For the fourth unit, fourth labor, the total production was 200. Anyone, please tell me the value of the average product?
50.
50. Correct. Perfect. Very good. And the marginal product will be from 210, it increases to 2, it declined to 200. From 210, it decreases to 200. That means
10.
production is declined by 10. but it is not 10, it is minus 10, right? We can write it as,
Yeah, minus 10.
okay, if production increases, it will be in positive. If production is declining, then we will write it in negative. Alexander, is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, next item. For the fifth labor, total production increases to 250. That means average product will be
50.
250 divided by 5. It will be
50.
again. Now tell me the marginal product. From 200 increases to 250. That means marginal product will be 50.
50.
Okay. Now, sixth labor, when sixth labor is added, total production increases to 240. That means average product is, tell me, average product will be, Alexander, Sidra, what will be the average product? 240 divided by 6.
40.
Perfect. 40. And what is the change in the total product, sir? It declined from 250 to 240. That means production decreases by 10 units. Is that
Minus
correct?
10. Yes.
Now finally, last item, when 7 labor is added, total production is 210. What is the average product? So 210 divided by 7, it will be 30 only.
30.
Correct? And can you tell me the marginal product, guys? What will be the marginal product?
30.
Minus 30.
Minus 30. Perfect.
Minus 30.
All right. So I hope all of you understood the concept of total product, average product, and the marginal product. Is that clear? Any doubt?
Yes.
Okay. So we will do a few more questions based on this. But before that, I want you to pay attention on the PowerPoint. So this is the PowerPoint. Okay. So as I told you, product are what? Product is basically the output that firm produces. And product of a firm can be divided into 3 parts: total product, marginal product, and the average product. Now total product is what? Whatever the total quantity that a firm is able to produce by applying all the factors of production, fixed factor or variable factor, whatever the firm have, whatever the factors of production that firm is using. So the total quantity that firm is able to produce applying all the factor, or you can say whatever the quantity that a firm is able to produce by applying all the variable factor or the labors, that is known as the total product. Okay. And what is average product? Output produced by per unit of variable factor is called average. That means output produced by one labor is called average product. Whatever the quantity that one labor is producing, whatever the contribution that one labor is making in the total output is known as the average product. Is that clear, everyone? And
Yes, sir.
finally, the marginal product is what? When one extra labor is applied in the production, whatever the extra quantity that he is able to produce by entering into the production cycle, that is known as the marginal product. One extra labor, whatever the quantity that one extra labor produce by, whatever the extra quantity that firm is able to produce by applying one extra labor in the production is called the marginal product. All right.
Extra labor.
Yes, extra labor. Okay. So guys, this is the question, and I want all of you to calculate the average product and marginal product in the given question. Will you be able to solve this question, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'm giving you 5 minutes, and I hope if you understood everything, then you can easily solve this. Alexander, Sidra, Nahida, and Steve, please solve this. If you are finding anything difficult, do let me know, please. Sidra, are you getting this? Everything is clear till now?
Yes.
Alexander, is this clear?
Yes, yes.
Nahida, any doubts?
No, sir.
Okay, please solve this. Done, everyone? Any doubts? Still solving this question? All of you?
Yes.
Solve it quickly, please.
Done, sir.
Done. Just a minute. Let everyone finish, then we will continue.
Okay, sir.
Alexander, done?
No, sir.
Still solving. Any doubts?
No, sir.
Okay. And Sidra, any doubts?
No. Yeah. The
Yeah.
first one will be 30.
Yeah, first one will be 30. Average product and the marginal product
Yeah.
will remain same at first unit.
Okay.
Why you guys are taking too long to solve this? This one is very easy. For the second unit, the average product will be 70 divided by 2. It will be 35, right? 70 divided by 30,
Yes, sir.
22, 30.
Yes, sir.
And 120 divided by 3, 40.
40. Yes.
And 160 divided by 4,
40.
180 divided by 5, it will be
36. 36.
190 divided by 6, it will be
31.6.
31.6. And finally, 140 divided by 7, it will be 20.
20. 20. Yeah.
So for the average product. Now, for the marginal product, so on 0, it will be 0, obviously. For the first unit, it will be 30. Now, for the second unit, total production increases from 30 to 70. That means there is an increase of 40 unit, right? That there is an increase of 40 units. So 40 will be the marginal.
Yes.
Alexander and Sidra, is this clear?
Yes.
Yes,
From
sir.
70 increases to 120. That means how much is the increase? How much is the 50?
50.
Marginal product. Next, from 120 to 160 increases 40.
40.
And the fourth unit marginal product will be 40. From 160, it goes to 180.
20.
Correct. So the marginal product will be 20. From 180 to 190, marginal product will be 10. 190 to 140.
Minus 50.
Minus
50.
Perfect, guys. Very good. Steve, done? Alexander, done?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So there's one more question I'm giving you. And this one is pretty similar to the question that you just did. So this is the question. This time you have average product given in the question, and you need to find out the value of total product and the marginal product. Average product is given, total product you need to find out, and the marginal product is also you need to determine. So let me help you a little. First of all, please find out the value of the total product. And for that, see, as I told you, for finding out the value of the average product, the formula is formula that we apply is average product equals to total product divided by labor, right? So similarly, in order to produce the total product will be equal to average product into labor. So when you multiply the labor with the average product, you will get the answer of the total product. Alexander, Sidra, Naida, and Steve. Is this clear, all of you?
Can I explain one more time? Yeah, can you explain one more time?
Just a minute. Let me show you. Okay. So in the previous question, the first question that I have explained, I have told you that in order to find out the value of the average product, we can divide the total product with the labor, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So similarly, using this information, using this given formula, can we also calculate the value of the total product? Like if AP equals to TP divided by L, that also means that if AP
TP.
multiplied with the labor quantity, then we will be able to find out the value.
Yeah. TP will be AP into labor.
Correct. TP will be AP into labor. Alexander and everyone else. Is this clear, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So please calculate value of total product at first labor. If labor is producing 20 average product, that means 20 will be the total product also. And that is also I have explained that at the first unit everything remains same. So average product 20, total product will be 20. So marginal product will also be 20. Moving on to the next item. Next, on second labor, average product is 30. So that means total product will be, anyone?
15.
No, average.
30 into 2, right?
Yeah, 30 into 2. We will be multiplying average product with the labor only.
60.
Yeah.
Yes, 60. Then again 50 into 3. 150, right?
150.
Any
Yes.
doubts, guys? You are having any problem with this question?
No.
No, sir.
Then 20 into 4,
80.
80. And 18 into 5,
18
you
into
will be required to find out that.
90.
No. Yeah, okay, 90. All right. So this is your total product. And once total product is calculated, you can easily find out the marginal product, right? From 20 total product, it increases to 60. That means marginal product will be how much? From 20, it goes to 60, no? So what is
Yes.
marginal?
60 minus 20 is 40.
40. And again, 150 minus 60,
90.
9. Then 80 minus 150, production is declining now. So we will write down minus 70.
Minus 70.
Perfect. Very good.
Yeah.
Okay. 80 to 90. So there is an increase in the marginal product. That means 10 is the marginal product.
Yeah.
Got it, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Alexander?
Yes,
Is-
sir.
Yes.
Guys?
No.
Okay. So guys, I'll be giving you one, just a minute. Yeah. So I'm giving you this question for your homework. Please take the screenshot of this. This will be homework. From the marginal product, you need to find out the value of the total product and the average product.
Okay.
And also, done with the screenshot, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Moving on to the next question. This will be your homework as well. So you will be required to find out the missing value in the question. All these dash are missing values. This is
Okay.
minus 20. This is not dash. This is minus 20. Take the screenshot of this as well.
Took.
Any doubts, guys? Any problem?
No, sir.
Okay.
So we
So
have to use the same formula, right?
we need to use the same formula.
Apply the same formula.
So this will be your homework. We will be if you are not able to solve this, we will be solving it in the next session also. Okay. So in today's session, we were talking about production function, wherein I have explained you the meaning of the production, wherein I have explained that production is basically a process. Production is a process through which inputs are converted into output. A process through which inputs are converted into output is called production. Then whatever the input that we use for the purpose of production are collectively known as factors of production.
Factors of production.
And factors of production may include raw material, machine, electricity, building, everything else. All right. And for any business enterprise, factor of production may change, but in economics, we can categorize the factor of production broadly into two categories. In economics, we identify the factor
And variable.
factor and the variable factor. Tell me, guys, any one of you, Which factor keep on changing with the change in the level of production?
Variable.
factor.
Variable factor keep on changing. Okay. And factor that does not change is known as the fixed factor. Then we have understood the concept of product. We have how many types of product in this chapter?
2.
2 products only.
Mm,
How many products we have discussed?
3.
3 product. Total product, average product, and the marginal product.
yeah, 3 project.
All of you? Any doubts, guys? You want to ask anything?
No, sir.
No.
This is
No,
this is for today's session, everyone. So we will proceed forward with this chapter in the next class only. And I hope the question I gave you as homework, you can solve it. And if you are
Yes,
not able to solve that, we will be solving it in the next class. For now, this is it for today's session. So thank you very much for attending the class, everyone.
thank you, sir.
Goodbye.
thank you, sir.
Allah Hafiz.
Allah
Thank
Hafiz.
you, sir.